You know what's a bigger story than LeBron James becoming a billionaire? The bigger story is how LeBron James became a billionaire. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. LeBron James is the first active NBA player that is also a billionaire. Michael Jordan became a billionaire after he retired, but LeBron James, as an active player, is officially a billionaire. And guess what? It's not all basketball money. In fact, the vast majority of it is not basketball money. And that's what we need to talk about. So number one, I think it's important to realize how far LeBron James came. From the son of a single mother, despite growing up in a family, single mother, not having his father around, father dipping out, getting his mother pregnant at a young age, dipping out, having no bearing, no influence, not being a presence in his son's life, LeBron James became a top-tier basketball player, dedicated himself to his craft, rose to the heights of sports play, became a husband and a father. So he's already, his accomplishments, and this is one thing I know people on the right like to criticize him because of his politics. If you want to talk about family values, the man is married, has kids, and has become the man his father wasn't. And I've said it before, if you believe in these principles, then you need to give him credit. But we see that even as an individual, even in his personal life, even above the accomplishments he's made in his personal life, what LeBron James has done in his professional life, give the man a hand. Because he has achieved billionaire status as an NBA player. And the key to how he did it, not just by collecting his paychecks as an NBA player, getting hundreds of millions of dollars, I think they said like $300 million over his career, that's what he's gotten from basketball. But he flipped that money. He leveraged that money. He leveraged his fame. He leveraged his name, his own personal brand to make more money. And that's the key. It actually reminds me that a couple of days ago, somebody on Twitter tweeted something along the lines of, brothers really went from fight the power to financial literacy. And I'm like you do realize that fighting the power, part of it is the finances, right? Like that thought somehow hadn't occurred to that individual. That thought, like that person somehow thinks that you can fight the power and be broke, that you can fight the power and not have resources, that you can fight the power and not have control over land, resources, food, a whole host of things that you need to have control over if you're going to fight the power. They really thought that. Yes, the key to freedom, the key to independence, the key to one of the keys to these things is having the money, having the resources, having the power. These things are connected. But in order to get the money, guess what you need? You need the knowledge. You need a mindset, because if we're thinking like employees, which LeBron James clearly wasn't, all you do is get a check. You get residuals. The bosses get the lion's share of the money and they cut you off a portion. Sometimes it's crumbs. Sometimes it's a little more than crumbs. Sometimes it's a slice, but it's never the pie. If you want the pie, you've got to think like a boss. You've got to think like an entrepreneur. You've got to think like a businessman. It's an entire different approach to business. So this is why one of the things I'm talking about is understanding finances, understanding economics is financial literacy. That's why I posted a video on Edgar. I posted a video on how to read financial documents. Why? Because these are all necessary skills in order to gain financial freedom, in order to take control of our financial destinies rather than letting other people control it and get rich off of us. LeBron James did was, he says, no, I'm making deals. I'm making these endorsement deals. I'm working with these companies, but I'm not going to let you just write me a check. I want equity. I want equity. I want a piece of the business. I want a piece of the profits. I don't want you to write me some check with a bunch of zeros on it that I'm like, oh, wow, look at all this money. I can go buy a Lambo. I want a percentage. I want to be able to make money as this business makes money. I want this residual income. I want this passive income. I want to grow in proportion to the business, not just what it looks like today. I want what it's going to be, because I know my name, I know my value, I know my worth, and I know what I can bring to the table. So I want to benefit off of that long term. And this is one of the things we need to understand. This is one of the things we need to change about our mindsets and the way we view money, the world, and business. We can't just be content for a paycheck. We can't just be content to get money right now. We got to think long term. We got to think like business people, businessmen, businesswomen. We got to be thinking, wait a minute, why settle for a one-time payment when we can get future revenue and have a piece of the pie, if not the entire pie? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm seeing. There's a shift. There's a shift in the mindsets. There's a shift in our consciousness that we have to be a part of, that we have to take advantage of. And that's why I look at cats who may be considered Pookies and Ray Rays. But these cats, there are some cats who started out in the corner, then started running crews. These cats think like businessmen. These cats think like moguls. There's a reason why Jay-Z is where he's at. Because these cats know how to run organizations, and these cats see the bigger picture. These cats have started to have a taste of what it's like to be the man at the top that cuts the checks for everybody else and then keeps the profit for himself. That's where it is. That's where the power is. That's where the money is. That's where the growth is. And that's where our focus needs to be, because that's where we can change the game. And that's why I look at how LeBron James didn't just settle for, oh, you just write me a check and I'll be happy. Oh, yeah, whatever. No. He says, no, I want equity. I want a piece of the business. I want a piece of the pie. I'm not your employee. I'm your partner. Like, this is where it starts. This is where the mindset needs to change in the way we even look at the world. And once you start looking at it differently, it's a whole new world out there. It's a whole new world. And the sky isn't even the limit. It's beyond that. As always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But if you disagree with me, if you're like, no, capitalism is evil, there's no way that regular people can become rich, go ahead and give me the thumbs down. And then tell me in the comment section if you know how to read a balance sheet, an income statement, or a cash flow statement. Let's change the world.